Paizo, this is your one and only warning. Welcome to the You've Been Warned video here on Cardinal Adventures. Now let me begin by saying that I love Pathfinder and Paizo and Starfinder from the little bit I've tried, and I want nothing more than to see Paizo succeed and do well as a company. On the other hand, I do not wish to see Paizo transform its digital content business model into the same model as Wizards of the Coast had done through D&D Beyond, one of many heavy microtransactions. Paizo's player base and community is strong because unlike Wizards of the Coast, your company, Paizo, has stood for long-term investment by offering a low barrier to entry for new players and, more importantly, GMs. Now, relax. I can already hear you saying, I'm not saying GMs are more important. What I'm saying, more important than players, let me clarify. I'm just saying that I think we could all agree that GMs need more access or need access to more rules and information on the fly or at any given time than a player usually does. If Pathfinder Nexus becomes the new D&D Beyond, we're going to have problems, Pathfinder and Paizo more specifically. That's all I could write. And or that's all I'd written. I had time to write because it's been a while since I had anything on my channel and I wanted to get something out. But you know what? Hot take. So here's the thing that a lot of people fail to understand. First of all, the people I know in the tabletop community, people that still play 5th edition, people that play 3.5, and I come from playing 3.5. I've played 3.5, 5th edition, Pathfinder 1st, Pathfinder 2nd, Halo Mythics version of 100 DOS system. I've even tried the Witcher system. And let me be the first to say, no one's ever heard of Demiplane. Nobody that I know, and especially myself, never heard of this Demiplane company. So, a company that you're going to be getting your books through from, basically Paizo to be, giving the license for them to have those, make those books digitally in their own format, pretty much very similar to D&D Beyond. Here's the problem. First of all, I acknowledge that you've given this $10 voucher as long as you can prove that you've purchased the book through Paizo.com and it's only $20 per book, But here's a big difference. I can look on my shelf right now, and unlike D&D, when it got to the point where D&D Beyond was marketed, I believe D&D had only about 7 books available at the time. Let's count it. Lost Omens Legends, Lost Omens World Guide, Gods and Magic, Character Guide, Ancestry Guide, Pathfinder Society Guide, Grand Bazaar, Guns and Gears, Advanced Player's Guide, Secrets of Magic, Core Rulebook, Mwanji Expanse, Bestiary 1, 2, 3. Over double. That's not including adventure paths if those eventually become available as well. So you want me to pay $20 per book to get reinvested? You can say, well, it's not the same that D&D Beyond, had you do because they wanted a full book price for each book. Okay, but again, if it's half the price of what D&D wanted and you're offering double the books, You're at the same price again now, aren't you? If you can just do basic math. That's a problem. Okay? Now, again, we're not... So here's what I'm saying. What happens to people in D&D or to 5th edition when D&D talks about a 6th edition? What happens when Pathfinder talks about a 3rd edition? Look, I don't have any issue with going digital. I don't have a problem with that. The issue comes from long-term, or what I would call the new long-term problem we might be facing, because let's just talk about this. Path Builder came out for 2nd edition. I think anyone that's in the community would not argue that Path Builder is hands down the best character creation tool on the market. That if you want to call a premium, it has a premium service. It's $5. $5. I think anyone could say that's not trying to rob you of house and home. And they have the most robust character creation creation tool on the Pathfinder market. Most people just use the free version, and that's fine. Because Paizo has always been about, again, low barrier to no barrier at all for entry. And that's why people like myself start free, because we're not sure if we want to fully get on this boat. And then we go, oh my God, it's the greatest thing ever. And then now I have a shelf of books. Okay? That's how that works, right? With this digital platform, what we could be seeing in the future is this, like, again, physical books, they're under there's no danger for the physical books. There's no danger, right? But when you say, okay, well, let's look what happened with D&D 5th edition, or let's go from like 3rd to 5th edition, or even 4th edition. 4th edition was and again, this is information I did not know about because I never played 4th edition. This is something I'm getting from, or this is information I'm pretty much paraphrasing from Knights of Last Call. You should be sure to check out their review of Pathfinder Nexus and their surface thoughts on Pathfinder Nexus. Link below. 4th edition, again, I never touched it. Was, from what I understand, there was a Dungeon Insider. There was a website that a lot of the game was pretty much attempted to being almost fully digital, very, very little physical, to try and be the cutting edge, right? And as we all know, 4th edition wasn't received well either way. Well, then we have 5th edition and then D&D Beyond. What I'm getting at here is, if you have open source and you have this true OGL, there was an OGL for 5th edition, true OGL, until D&D Beyond. When D&D Beyond, and again, please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm not an expert on this matter, but as far as I know, there was digital content, digital source reference material available for D&D 5th edition until D&D Beyond, and then it became the exclusive. It was granted exclusive digital rights for any official D&D material. There's still open source material for D&D 5th edition, but it's extremely limited material that doesn't really truly allow you to see the full scope of what 5th edition has to offer from a digital standpoint. And that's because it's all funneled through D&D Beyond. So the fear that I think anyone who's thinking about long-term is that, well, what happens if Demiplane becomes exclusive? Again, Path Builder releases second edition character creation. I didn't see a Paizo live stream. We have a lot of these digital websites come up to assist people with Pathfinder second edition material. I didn't see a Pathfinder live stream go up for those. Company comes up that I've done a little research. It's been around for more than a few years. But most people, again, have never heard of Demiplane until a Paizo live stream, which you're live streaming a service that isn't even released. So, again, if you're starting to pay attention, I think you can understand where people are concerned. We're talking about pre-order, which, again, anyone in the video gaming community or plays video games knows what pre-orders have done long-term to video games and quality of games. Cyberpunk. Okay? So, let's be real. If you're not slightly concerned about this as as someone who's in the Pathfinder community, again, I'm not against digital content creation, but if this becomes an exclusive deal for digital content, I'm out. I'm just letting you know, I'm out. Because that will go against what Paizo has been for, because we all know that digital is more accessible than physical. Let's not kid ourselves. We all know that digital play, or playing digitally over VTTs or virtual tabletops, is easier to assemble people or get people together than physically getting together, especially if you're, nowhere near one another. Obviously. But if you turn that digital method of monetization into D&D Beyond style monetization, I'm out of here. You have lost my business, because I don't support that. And I hope that's not the case. If it's not the case, please let me know in the comments below. Please tell me I'm going crazy. But if you're going to tell me that I'm going crazy, please have some evidence to back it up and some sources I can look into for this kind of information. I really want to be put at ease. I hate the prospect of Paizo and this Pathfinder Nexus turning into the next D&D Beyond. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next video. Take it easy.